Okay, so it's a Sunday night at a Premier in Norwich, and I thought, what better thing to do right now than record this next video. And what I wanted to talk about today was um, I wanted to go into a little bit more detail on a particular aspect of my swimming, but how it also relates to another part of my life in this kind of like slightly weird way. So any of you who are may not be aware of my professional background, I trained as a clinical psychologist, qualified just over 18 years ago. I've worked in mental health services for the vast majority of that time, and worked with a lot of people. And the thing, what I'm finding really interesting about it is I've got a particular insight into my swimming that feels like it's related to some of that work and some of that life, and yet I'm going through the typical thing of, the what's the phrase, physician heal thyself, and all that kind of stuff that I can't quite work through. So I know I spoke in my last video about the challenges I'm having with swimming, and that those challenges are multiple. One of the things I spoke about was to do with breathing. And what I've been recognizing more and more is that the pattern in my breathing has something to do with panic. Um, and I don't, I've worked that out. I'm fairly confident that there is a kind of like psychological panic that's happening. Um, because what happens is that I set off. I'll do somewhere at the first half length or so. My breathing will be okay. What I'm doing is I'm breathing every 3 strokes. I have tried to play around with this a bit, but I keep on coming back to that being the right pattern for me. So I'm kind of like, I'm doing freestyle. I'm breathing every 3 strokes, trying to breathe out through the water, and then kind of bring my head up and take a decent breath in. And I'll do half a length to 2/3, and that'll be okay. But then at that point, suddenly, um, my chest just starts to tighten in this, and I couldn't work out what it was. I thought it was just that I was working too hard to actually get enough breath in. But what's happening is my chest is tightening, and that's then stopping me. That's literally reducing the capacity of my lungs to function properly. And it means that as I breathe out, I'm not breathing out very well. And as I bring my head up, I'm not breathing in very well. And so then that final third of a length, I've kind of like got this, I then get this heightened and increased awareness of, oh God, I'm not getting enough oxygen in. And that just makes my chest get tenser and tenser. And so that by the end of the length, it feels like it feels like an absolute miracle that I've got there, and I'm always out of breath. Now, this has got better. I've been having lessons now for about 4 months. It's definitely got better, particularly over these 2 months where I've been able to go more regularly. And like I say, I'm at the pool most weeks. I manage to get there 3 times a week, doing 2 sessions a week now where I'm doing lengths. Most recently, I've been able to do 18 lengths over the course of an hour, but I'm always having to take a break between each one. And that's not really because any part of my muscles feel too tired to do another length. It's purely because I need to give myself a good minute or so to regain my breath because of how little oxygen I brought in to recover my muscles while swimming in that final part. And it's frustrating. Like I say, I've been working in mental health services for all this time. I've worked with loads of people with anxiety, loads of people with panic, and so I really recognise that kind of cycle of the tightening of the physical sensations, the tightening in the chest, the kind of like slightly the panic thoughts, the cycle building on itself. Um, but doesn't mean the awareness of it doesn't mean that I can stop it at all. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a video actually with a bit of narration over it, just to give you a sense of what I think it is that's going on, to kind of make sense. So this was, bear in mind, I had a 45-minute swim lesson at this point, doing the widths, and then my teacher filmed me doing a length at the end of it. There's a lot to be said about this this swim and lots of different aspects of your technique that you could pick up on if you are a swimmer. But just focusing on, I just want to focus on the breathing this. And I also have to say, I wish that we'd taken a video 4 months ago when I started, because I know that it's a lot better than it was. So I'm, again, trying not to be too hard on myself. But anyway, let's have a quick look at this and think about what it says about my breathing. So at the start of a length like this, I've taken a deep breath and I'm blowing out fairly well at this point. And I'm going to be taking 9 breaths over the course of the length, I can see. And what you'll notice is that like my head comes right round, but it doesn't feel like it's necessarily up for long enough to be taking much of a breath in. And when you combine that with just how hard my legs are having to work there, like how much air I'm needing to get in to actually fuel that, it kind of, by this point, I'm beginning to feel a little bit panicked. It feels like my arms speed up, but it doesn't look like it on here. So there you go, bit of live action for you. You can see the strokes not as effective as it could be. My knees are very bent, and and that makes me not very streamlined. So I know I'm working too hard as well. But in terms of the breathing, we know it's panic, or I know I feel very confident about the panic because, for example, I have actually, I've had access to a snorkel that my son used to use for his swim training, and I've been able to, using that, I have done a length up to the end of the pool and back again. But even there, where I've got full access to the oxygen because I've got the snorkel, and there's nothing that I actually need to worry about, and I should be able to definitely be feeding my muscles the oxygen they need for what I'm doing. Still, by 2/3 of the way through the first length, my chest was still tightening up. It was definitely my chest tightening up. It was definitely and my breathing, even through the snorkel, was becoming shallower and shallower and shallower. So that by the time I had done the second length, I was exhausted. And it's sort of weird because what I thought was I'd be able to use that snorkel to try to kind of teach my mind that it's okay to be underwater and try and deal with that, but it just didn't really happen at all. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have seen probably the last 2 sessions I've had, something did seem to click in a slightly different way. And what I noticed was that there was something about in the breath as I came round, I was taking in longer breaths even in the final third than I had been. Still not enough for me to feel like I could carry on with the second length, but still good nonetheless. One of the things that I'm considering actually, this was a suggestion from my sister, was to look at trying to do some kind of yoga before I do my sessions, as you know, to try to see if I can go into the sessions with a better sense of control over my breathing. There's a particular breathing yoga called Yoga Nidra that I need to look up, and that might help, might be part of the answer. What else had I thought about? I mean, the other thing is that it even makes me feel like I should consider hypnosis or something, because just something to try to really break that strange pairing that I currently have between my brain and my body that doesn't let whether it's my brain or my body, I'm not sure which way around you'd say it, not letting me believe that I can survive beyond one length. I don't know. It's something to watch anyway. I'm not feeling too despondent because I have seen some progress over recent weeks. Let's see how it goes over the next few weeks. But yeah, I hope that was interesting for you. If you like that video and want to hear more about my story over the coming years, please make sure that you hit subscribe on the channel so that the videos will always appear in your feed.